Welcome back, guys. In today's video I'm going to be discussing a modification I did to my Range Rover Sport a few months ago now, and I wanted to give you my thoughts and feelings on it, whether I like it and whether you should consider doing it as well. The modification I did was to lower the Range Rover by about like 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters, and I did it using something called lowering links. Now these cars have got air suspension on them, and they feature these little kind of rods in each arch behind the wheels, and they pull off, but you got to be very careful. If you pull them too hard, you'll snap them. If you snap them, you're screwed. You can actually do this without taking your wheels off, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's much easier to take the wheels off because you can get access to them a lot easier. You need to put a little bit of WD-40 on it. That will kind of lube it up a bit so that you can take them off. Even easier, do what I did, pay someone to do it for you. Much more straightforward, and you haven't got to worry about things getting broken, because if they snap whilst you're doing it and you can't get the replacement ones on, you're screwed. You can't use your car. The other thing as well is that it does tend to send your air suspension mad. It's a bit like when you change your tyres or you need to get your car up. You're meant to put it in lockdown button, so you've got your little suspension controls here where you can raise or lower the car, and you see at the bottom you've got a little lock button. When you change your wheels or do anything like that, you need to put it in lock. That basically sorts it all out. So yeah, if you're messing around changing components that affect the air suspension, expect it to go mental, and it will. So again, that's why it's good to get someone to do it. I had mine done whilst I was getting the car serviced, so they already had the wheels off. The labour involved in them literally just whipping them off and putting them on, for them it took them like 10 minutes. For me, probably take an hour, 2 hours even, who knows. I'll probably know me, but butterfingers, I'll probably snap them off and be screwed. So how does it work? It's simple but clever. The air suspension has sensors in it that monitor where the ground is. So these new lowering links, you change the length of them, and then it fools the air suspension into thinking the ground is further away than it actually is. So it lowers the car down to compensate. And it works great, but you have to make sure that they're all exactly the correct length. The longer you make them, the lower the drop, the more it drops down. So depends how kind of crazy low you want to go. I went with the recommendation, which was like 3 centimeters, I think, because that lowers it down. It doesn't affect the handling too much in terms of it being too bumpy and too kind of crashy, but it does give a nice drop, so the car looks a little bit sportier, because it's a Range Rover, yeah, but it's quite a huge gap when you put 22-inch wheels on. If you are modding the car, you feel like it should sit a little bit lower. So how does it look? I think it looks a lot better. The previous kind of height for me with the 22s on it, it was alright. Yeah, it's very comfortable with that height because you've got the full play of the air suspension available. But yeah, it did sit a little bit high for my likings. So yeah, by adding the lowering links, it's brought it down to what I feel is a much more sporty kind of look. It's a Range Rover Sport. In my head it should look quite sporty. So compensating by lowering it down so you lose a little bit of arch gap without going silly kind of race car arch gap, it looks good in my opinion. Let me know what you think. I think some people go lower than me. I feel if you go any lower, you're going to be pretty much on your bump stops, and then it's not going to be at all comfortable. You still want to maintain some form of comfort in the ride. It's a Range Rover after all. So one thing you should probably consider when you lower the Range Rover is that if you've got standard wheels on it, you are going to get more of a kind of a camber where the wheels are going to be going in like that, just because of the nature of how the air suspension works. So something you probably already noticed with Range Rover Sports is that the OEM wheels, they do sit very kind of tucked into the arches. So it almost looks like it's kind of like a little baby deer. It's not an aggressive sporty look. So you can fix that by doing one or two things. One, you can put spacers on. I personally wouldn't put spacers on because there's a lot of negativity around them, the whole safety, the fact they do put a lot more stress on the bearings. What type of spacers you should go for? If you do go for them, you probably should go for the hub-centric ones, because that puts all the stress and the weight on the actual spacer itself rather than the nuts. But again, if you're going to give spacers, do a lot of research on them, because the safety element is vital. That's what connects you to the to the ground after all. You don't want to be having loose things or potential failures going when you're doing the speed limit or whatever. For me, the other option, what I did, I went for a lower offset wheel. I put 22s on this, as you've probably seen in previous videos. And when I put the wheels on, I just, when I bought them, I chose to go for a much more aggressive offset, so they fill the arches. With the standard height suspension, they were literally flush to the arch. Now it's been lowered a little bit. You do see that they're kind of gone in a bit, so the rears could, in fact, do be coming out slightly more. But for me, it's fine. I run 285, 35 22s all round. There is one guy I've seen running I think it was 315s on the back. But again, the issue you got with that is you then need to make sure that you're matching the profiles up with the front, so you get the exact same rolling radius. Because I know with Audi Quattros, you can wreck the four-wheel drive system if you're running, like, you know, different ratios and different rolling radiuses at the front and the rear. With the Ranges, I'm not that sure. You can probably tell me whether it's a similar system where if you've got different rolling radiuses at the rear to the front, if that's going to wind your four-wheel drive system up over time to a point where it fails. I don't know, you might know that. But either way, I just went for 4 equal wheels, you know, and tires, so everything is nice and straightforward. And yeah, the end result is nice. You know, it looks still pretty much flush to the arches. It looks a lot sportier, and I'll tell you what, the handling, massive difference compared to obviously OEM wheels and standard height. You drop it 3-4 centimeters and you go over a wider offset. My God, it makes a huge difference. You will not believe the difference that this car has with its handling now compared to, you know, a few months ago when everything was standard. You can now go into corners, you know, much more confidently. It's still a bus. It still weighs an absolute ton. So you know, you can't beat physics. You're not going to be keeping up with crazy fast cars and stuff. But compared to a standard OEM height, OEM wheeled setup Range Rover Sport, this thing would leave it for dead. It's a much more involving drive now. So yeah, the effect on the ride though is, you know, significant. What I've noticed after a few months, it is a lot harder. It's definitely harder. When you go over speed bumps, you feel it. When you hit potholes, you feel it a lot more than you used to. Previously at the normal height, you would just sail over it and you'd be like, what? You know, but now, yeah, you definitely feel it. It feels a lot more sportier. But that's a trade-off, and I'm happy to make that trade-off. You know, I enjoy the car more. I have it in sport mode more. It handles better. I think it looks better. But yeah, there's always going to be a trade-off in this. So that, I feel, is, you know, one thing that you do need to be aware of. And obviously, the lower you make your car, the harder that ride is going to get as well. So drop 3 centimeters, it's livable, it's nice, you can do that. Drop it more than that, you're going to be, yeah, it's going to be hurting your back, and you probably didn't buy your Range Rover for that type of experience. One thing to mention is this is so much lower compared to my Defender. Honestly, you get in the Defender now and you're just like, you know, up in a tower. You're so high. This thing, yeah, it's a lot lower now, even though like the 3 centimeters doesn't sound like a lot. When you're sitting in it, it feels like you're sitting in a sports car. It's mental. And you get the Defender and you are just like really high up. But so yeah, there's a big difference now. There's no problem getting this into multi-story car parks. Defender, yeah. So yeah, just to recap, the pros are, I feel it looks better, it handles better, it's, you know, for me, it ticks a lot more boxes now. I'll probably keep this car longer now because of what I've done to it. The cons, definitely it's a firmer ride. With the wider offset, the car is always filthy. You've probably seen, you know, that in my videos, this car is never clean because it is impossible, because the wheels, now they're sitting further out, are always spraying mud up the sides. But yeah, for me, the pros outweigh the cons, so I'd recommend it. You know, look at it, it's an easy mod to make. It doesn't affect your insurance a huge amount. Make sure you obviously declare it. And yeah, for the cons, I would say definitely consider doing it. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and drop a comment. Maybe you've already lowered your car, or maybe you're considering it, but based on my experience, I give it a double thumbs up and get on and do it. Thanks for watching.